Hello everybody and welcome back yet again to another daily update video. My name is CryptoStash and I hope you're having an amazing weekend. Currently it is Saturday and let's get right into the charts as Bitcoin right now still consolidating above that weekly pivot. We have bounced, as you can see, exactly from the weekly P level, which is 117k, and right now Bitcoin is consolidating. If we look at the lower time frame, you can see we are still in that range right here after we managed to get back into it. Then we got a fake out at the all-time high, basically rejected from the last R3, basically the resistance, the last weekly pivot resistance, and Bitcoin right now got back into that range. You can see we are below the POC, basically where most of the volume sits in this range. So as of right now, this is a bearish sign. But if Bitcoin manages to reclaim and stays above 170k, then I will potentially consider a continuation of this uptrend. So if we look at the daily time frame, basically you can see the uptrend still remains strong, and basically this will potentially be just a small correction like the corrections that we've got right here and right here, you can see, and also this one. Basically, as long as we do not lose, let me mark it like this. I did in my previous video, but this time we're gonna do it kind of differently. So basically, we wanna see the price of Bitcoin not lose this level right here, which is basically $112,000 for Bitcoin. If the price loses this level right here, then lower prices will potentially come. So basically, if we lose this level, the low 100Ks and maybe even 98K will be a possibility. But as of right now, price is still staying strong to the upside. We might see a very big move happening next week, since as you can see, Bitcoin on the weekly time frame looks very like in a small consolidation range right here. So we might still range a little bit before we finally see that explosive move. And as I said, if we lose this level, this move is going to be to the downside. And if we manage to hold this level, the move is going to be to the upside. Now, why I say this is because we are consolidating, and also the fear and greed index is in that neutral zone, which the grid zone, basically the fear and greed zone does not stay long into that neutral zone. As you can see, basically the longer we stay here into that neutral zone, the more time Bitcoin consolidates and the more explosive the move to the upside will be, which is normal. And this is exactly what we want to see. You can see the last time we got in that neutral zone and dipped down into that fear zone, then we pumped. I think this was, let me see, this was back in July, I think. Basically, I think this time, yeah, exactly in July, when we got down to 98k, basically 22nd of July. This is exactly where we dipped down into that fear zone. You can see 22nd 6th 2025, and this right here was when Bitcoin got that bottom out, and then after hitting that fear zone, we got a 25% move to the upside. So in my opinion, it is possible that Bitcoin starts dropping again, potentially to this level right here, the last S3, basically the last weekly pivot support for this week. Or as I mentioned in the previous videos, if we go on the weekly, it is possible that we can go all the way down to 106k, or maybe even slightly below it to scare everybody out, and then we can get that continuation to the upside. But as you know, if this happens, Bitcoin will potentially be touching that fear zone, and once we get in that fear zone, then I am expecting that very strong move to the upside to happen. As I said also in the previous videos, we want to see for now Bitcoin potentially hold this value area low, and then the uptrend to continues. But if it doesn't, the second scenario that in my opinion will play out, Bitcoin will go down there to 110, maybe 106, scare everybody out of the market. The fear and greed index will hit fear zone, and then we take off when the quarterly 4 starts. So before that takeoff we might see some kind of consolidation at these lows if we get there, and then price can potentially start pushing higher to the upside. In my opinion, this is the two scenarios for Bitcoin that I am looking out for right now. Ethereum still getting that small correction on the daily. You can see right now about 8% of a correction. The weekly still looks good. Now it depends how this weekly candle will close in about 1 day and 10 hours. If we close a very large wick like right here, this would basically be considered a bearish hammer candle. So basically this is where lots of sellers stepped in, and if they manage to close this candle like this, then it is potentially possible that Ethereum will go down to 4,000 or maybe even 3,700 once again to potentially look for support before another bounce to the upside. And the same goes for Solana. Solana, if we look at it on the daily, we have created a double top like we have created right here. You can see basically the same thing repeating for Solana again, but this time we are slightly above the value area high. So we want to see Solana keep this level in order for continuation to the upside. But because before we broke down to this level, we went all the way down to that value area low, which is at $127 for Solana. Now I don't think Solana will potentially go back to this level. Maximum for a bounce for Solana would be at 142 in my opinion. That POC of this bigger range would be the max retracement for Solana before a final push higher, since as you can see here we made those two highs, they were lower, and now the new highs, they are slight higher. So higher highs is very possible in order to play out like this, but this is going to take some time to play out. So we just wanna look lower for a potential buy opportunities, and then we need to just wait for the market to do its thing, as I said. Now we also want to see the Bitcoin dominance rejecting once again. If it potentially goes back to this trend line right here, which is also where the weekly pivot sits, we want to see a rejection once again and continuation to the downside in order for the altcoins to continue pushing hard. If the Bitcoin dominance starts pumping again, as you know, the altcoins will struggle a bit, because right now we are below this macro range, which is like almost 2 years to the upside now. So we want to see finally a breakdown of this trend for the Bitcoin dominance, and we want to see altcoins have a actual altcoin season. So yes guys, this will be it for today's update video. It's going to be quick weekend update video, so I hope you liked it. Subscribe for the channel, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.